Now, buddy, I'm about to do something very illegal, and that is fly this airplane in Europe and America. Yes, arrest me, officer. Everybody, in today's video, we're going to talk about the COMAC C919, which is China's first big commercial airliner that flies around now. I mean, this plane has been flying around passengers since 2023, but it's only flying within China, its motherland, because neither the FAA or EASA, which is the European equivalent, have approved it, and so it's not necessarily allowed in, which is weird because in this video it will turn out that the COMAC C919 is quite nice, and I've been really excited for this video because I really want to find out what this airplane is like. I mean, we can fly it as a passenger as well. Josh Cahill did a review. He liked it, but what's it like to fly? We can kind of answer that now because the Chinese developers of FYCYC are working on an add-on for this airplane. Now, it's been kind of released for a few months now, but you're not able to buy it. It costs 328 Chinese yuan, which is around 40 euros, but you're not able to actually purchase it outside of China, unfortunately, right now. Yes, this clearly doesn't work right now. So I reached out to these developers and said, hey, can I have a look at this plane? I really want to see what it's like, the C919. Fly it around a little. And they told me that they have reasons that the airplane is not released outside of China right now. We will see that today, because this airplane is not fully finished yet, but it already looks pretty awesome. Now we can take a look at the outside modeling, which is textured nicely. You know, this plane is sort of like a best of all airplanes. It's obviously supposed to compete with the Airbus A320 and the 737, while kind of looking like a Bombardier C-Series, like, you know, the Airbus A220. I think it's quite nice looking though. We've got a very like aerodynamically looking nose with huge cockpit windows. But well, other than that, they haven't really reinvented the wheel of flying. It's powered by LEAP engines. Yes, the one that CFM makes, that's available on the A320 and the 737 MAX. Yeah, as you can see, the three share the same engines, and you can find quite a lot of Western parts in this airplane, and that is especially in the avionics. Let me just say that I'm really liking this cockpit. It really is sort of like a best of like most cockpit systems. The overhead panel on the left side resembles the A320 a lot, but it is a little bit more cleaned up. As you can see, the evacuation and the emergency electrical power in terms of its design language looks quite similar, but as you can see, this plane is like sort of like more clean. The joystick is very similar to the Airbus joystick as well, and you know, really the avionics systems itself are made by Honeywell, like the screen. You know, this cockpit kind of reminds me of like a very much more modern 737 MAX. I mean, this cockpit layout is kind of deprecated by now. I mean, that's way too many switches for nowadays, but it really does resemble the Airbus A220 cockpit a little bit in terms of like how the avionics are aligned. See, with this middle screen and some more stuff, it's like, you know, they didn't reinvent the wheel with the avionics either. Once again, made by Honeywell. And you can even see these engine fuel control switches, which are the same control switches as you can find on the 777, for example. Might not want to flip those. And that's obviously because, like, why would you want to develop your own avionics systems and engines when you can just buy ones that are already existing? I think the problem a lot of people make with stuff like this is see this as like a competition to Western airplanes. Surely might be a little bit, but surely no airplane is made in just one company. I mean, airplanes are really just a compilation of many countries' work. I mean, Airbus is very French, but its avionics are also made by Honeywell, which is an American. So is this airplane like it's kind of Franco-American. And oh no, the Michelin tires of a 777 are made in France. And I mean, the avionics system of the Embraer jet, you know, the Brazilian plane, are very much supplied by many countries, mostly the US. So really doesn't matter. Let's have a close look at this airplane here, this add-on, because actually the texturing is really good. Like the whole 3D model, I don't hate it at all. Let's go and see how this airplane works though, because that's always super interesting. You know, aircraft manufacturers kind of always have their blueprint of how their airplanes always look, and so does this. So main battery, turn that on. Yes, wonderful. go. That doesn't power on the screens just yet. We might want to turn on the APU battery so that we can turn on the APU. There we go. There we go. Start that up, and we can even see some of the screens already turning on. Now, the screen really does remind me of the 737 MAX, but I think it's a bit different. It has a relatively similar layout, but not quite. And yes, of course, this is touchscreen, as you can see. Now, there we go. The APU is turning on, and so we're able to turn on the APU generator, which is very much needed because the battery's discharging. Yep, that is turning on now, and you can see some systems turning on. Now you might ask me, well, Swiss, where did you align this plane? Connection loss. How did you align the cockpit instruments so that the airplane finds its location all over the world, which you need to do? The inertial navigation system, how are the instruments already working? And this is the interesting bit, because after you turn on the battery of this airplane, the airplane aligns itself, which I really haven't seen before. Now, of course, it aligned a lot quicker than in real life because I set this plane to an instant alignment speed, but that's kind of cool, not bad. Anyway, yeah, this is the EFB, which is a little small, but we can control external units right here. For example, the GPU and PCA. And yeah, this plane is sort of a work in progress right now, and I think it's a good decision that they're not selling it just yet. You know, that's very commendable. The GPU, for example, hasn't been added in. Neither have been animated doors. The cargo doors work though, as you can see. So you can still fly this airplane to, you know, jet bridges and you won't really care. But yes, as you can see, the cargo hold has been done and animated as well. Let's go ahead and turn it off, get it all closed. Now here we can do fuel setting. Let's do like 50%. Something like that. You can do payload just as normal. And of course, pushback. Something that might be coming up in the future is failures when they actually release this plane. Now, talking about things that aren't done yet, FYC have a list here of what is included right now, and it's quite a lot. Like cabin lights don't work, once again, passenger door animation, but most importantly, the flight management computer isn't done yet. So as you can see, some of the pages already work. For example, this map already works. Well, kind of. We have to select here what we want to look at. For example, the map. We can also look at the checklist that's already there. For example, the before start checklist, onboard documentation. That's kind of cool. But other than that, we can't really do a full flight just yet. So this airplane is like nice to fly around with, which we're going to do some flight testing, but the systems are not accurately simulated. Why is that? Because, you know, this is a new system. Usability wise, it reminds me a little bit of the Airbus A220 because it's, after all, once again, the same manufacturer. But yeah, they want to make sure it works well before they release it. So here, by the way, here is the systems page. Looks just like the Airbus A220, I think. Look, this doors are armed. We can see the electric. We've got quite a lot of insight into this plane, and that's kind of cool. Let's go ahead and, well, finally fly it. I mean, geez, finally break the law. And let's go ahead and turn pushback mode on, attach the tug, and move the tug backwards. As you can see, that works, and so we are clear for engine start. And just like in every airplane, all we need to do is turn on the APU bleed so that air can run to the engine. Yeah, we can actually hear that power on, so I don't mind the sound system. Let's go ahead and turn the engines to start position, and look right here. We can see all temperature going up, and we can see that that's turning on. The right engine is turning on, as you can see, definitely from the outside. Yep, the N1 compressor is starting to move. Wonderful. Yep, that looks good. All right, start engine number 1 as well. Fuel control on. Looking good. Yep, that is giving some air right now. And the C919 is turning on. Good. Look at those winglets. I don't mind them at all. Wait, has the engines failed? You know, maybe turning on the fuel pump would be a little... That is definitely a reason why this didn't... Yeah. Now, sorry, little airplane. Let's try to turn you back on again. Or you might as well get this airplane ready for takeoff state. There we go. That's working. Nose wheel steering is off. Let's turn it on, which we are unable to do because we're still pushing back. So, please. 0 speed. Yes. Good. Park and move tug. Attach tug. That is all good. We're now on our own. And turning nose wheel steering on makes us be able to, yes, to steer the nose. Now, what Josh Cahill told me about flying on this airplane is that, well... It felt no different to flying any other airliner, to be honest. And that's probably how this airplane generally kind of feels to fly. It's no different. It hasn't got any, like, dragons or anything appearing. It's just it's a decent plane that is kind of like a 737, but costs, like, maybe $30 million less. And also doesn't crash as much. Well, yeah, the COMAC actually had never any in-flight problems. At least none that I know of. Although, to be fair, only 28 of these have been built yet. Yes, only 22 of these are actually in service. Now, this is not necessarily a success yet. That's because of all the certification problem. Even within China, it took a long time to actually get this airplane into the skies on paper because of paperwork. And the same situation this airplane is facing in Europe and FAA. Now, right now, COMAC is not currently pursuing FAA certification according to Wikipedia, and it's generally going to be a hard step. You know, this is a new aircraft manufacturer for outside of China, and the aviation authorities have to assess the entire airplane. But I guess that's kind of maybe the next step. Let's go and take off this plane, which sounds like a plane that has LEAP engine, no different to the 737. Let's go ahead and see if the flight's any different. Probably not. And look at this, we've got our indication of our joystick. Let's go ahead and take off now. Yeah, look at that. Wonderful. The C919 is taking off into the sky. Let's get the landing gear out. Up. Yes, look at this. This is a great animation. This is good modeling. Now, this plane does have an autopilot, and the autopilot is very interesting here. I can't really, this is different to, what we know. Let's turn on the auto throttle and get this airplane to track mode, heading mode. Obviously, LNAV doesn't work yet, so it's not fully finished. Now, buddy, I'm excited about especially one thing, and that is how this airplane speaks to me. You know, all airliners have GPWS callouts, right? And I wonder how does this airplane sound? Oh, we just heard something. I talked over it. Let's shut the hell up and land in London City here with this airplane. The flaps come all the way down to 34 degrees. That's a weird number.
1,000.
Oh, it made a noise. City's right ahead of us. All right, airport is right there. Now speak to me, airplane. Coming in low, but I want this thing to say 500 in whatever voice. Is it gonna have an accent?
500.
No, sounds very American. 500.
400.
400.
300.
300. Okay, well, that's fine. Okay, we've got pretty bad weather out here. It's pretty crazy. Go ahead and slow down and land.
Think free. Think free. Think free.
Okay,
50,
you're good.
40, 30, 20, 10.
It really has a very American accent, I must say. Let's go ahead and put out the reverse thrust and see if this airplane can stop in time on a wet runway. There we go. I think this has gone extremely well. Wow. We've got huge spoilers here that automatically come up once you put out reverse thrust. Did you see that? Yeah, this plane seems to stop quite a lot faster than a 737. That worked pretty well. Not too shabby at all. The COMAC C919. Would you fly it if a Western company bought it to fly it around? Also, would you fly around this airliner? I can't wait to actually have this airplane have proper systems, and so we can fly this thing around in VATSIM. So my friends, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. As always, good night.
The special thanks goes out to my members, my supporters, Guns Killer, R27, James Duram, That Dude, Anime Gods of Gaming, Derek, Insider Plane, Nishijitsu Finder, Professional Jamal, Ryland Williams, and New the York. You've got beautiful names.